Hey y'all, my name is Juliana Courville and I am from the Sunshine State of Florida. I currently attend the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Go Cajuns. I am a D1 track and cross country runner. What that means for me is I'm almost always in season. So in the fall we have cross country season. In the spring, we have indoor track and outdoor track. And then in the summer, it's basically cross preseason again. And in the winter, it's basically track preseason. So I'm always running around, always training, studying, working. I currently work as a PT tech, so a physical therapy tech, because I am studying pre-professional kinesiology, which is the study of human movement. Post-collegiate, I'm currently torn between two professions on whether I want to become an equine vet or go to PT school and do hippotherapy. What hippotherapy is physical therapy utilizing the horse. So your patients basically ride horses as a form of therapy to help them with their strengthening of their core, their legs, and it's just really cool, and I'm still trying to decide between those two. As for why I'm interested in this job position, I first and foremost think it would be an opportunity to learn more. The more you know, the more you realize you don't really know much, and I think this would be a great atmosphere to share what I do know, but then also learn a bunch more. Secondly, I think it's a great opportunity to work hard. I naturally am a hard worker when it comes to sports, when it comes to school, when it comes to work in general. And I think this job would be well suited for me in that sense. And lastly, I love the idea of working with both people and animals. Once again, I'm stuck between equine vet and PT, which people and animals, this job is kind of the nice mixture between them both. Actually, my favorite job was 2 summers ago, working at a riding school during their camp. I actually worked with students from, I think, like 5 years old all the way to high school. I got to teach some lessons here and there, some of them with the little ponies, some of them with the big horses. It was a great opportunity, one of my favorite jobs, and I want to go back. I want another job that's equine related. As for my equine experience, I have been riding since middle school. I have never owned my own horse though. So I started with taking lessons. Then eventually I ended up at this boarding stable where I helped one of my instructors with her client horses. I would do whatever I could and I would ride whoever's horse that would let me get on. So I would clean stalls. I once had a free lease. I cleaned stalls 4 days a week on top of going to cross country practice and school. Just to ride. I would do anything to be around horses, be at the barn, be at the stable. There was one point where one of my trainers, I painted all of their new jump poles just so I could have one free horse show. I was very much a hard worker. I was willing to do anything to be around horses and just to work with them and work around them. When I was younger, I was actually in pony club, and that was so much fun. I had such a blast. I was a mounted games rider, which is basically relay races on ponyback, which is so much fun. And then in middle school, I actually showed hunter jumpers. And now currently I help work in eventers' horses. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over how to sack up a horse. So first things first, you're going to want to groom your horse. I already groomed Poppy, I already picked out his hooves, so we're going to go right into the saddling. So I'm going to first start with the saddle pad, and I like to slide it forward first and then slide it back so we can get it in the right position. And then the next thing I'm going to grab real quick is his half pad. And I'm going to place it right on top there. And then next, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab his saddle and his girth. So kind of like how I did the saddle pad, I'm going to place it a little further in front and then slide it back to the right position. And then The next thing I'm going to do is pull up this padding to give him room for his withers. A good rule of thumb in an English saddle is you want the pommel and the cantle to be even. So if it's too far forward, the front is going to be higher up. If it's too far back, the back's going to be higher up. And you want it relatively even when you're looking at the leveling. So I'm going to take these fillets, throw them through here, and I'm going to come to the other side of Poppy. I'm going to make sure everything's nice and flat on this side. Throw these through here. Make sure everything's nice and even. And then it's time for the girth. So this girth's interesting. You can see right here, it's going to leave room for the leg. So this is coming forward. Now I'm going to come over to the other side. When you're doing up the girth, you want to make sure that both sides are pretty even. So on the other side, I'm going to have to tighten it eventually because this side looks like it's going to be a little bit higher up. So I'm going to go back over here. Alright, I'm not going to fully cinch it up till he's bridled and ready to go, but typically you want to be able to get a hand under here between you and your horse. You don't want it too tight, you don't want it too loose. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab his bridle. I'm going to undo his cross ties. And then I'm going to take these reins, put them over his head. If they would untangle for me real quick. And that way, he can't go anywhere. But he's a good boy. He's not going anywhere. So, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure everything's ready to go, not tangled. I'm going to place this hand overhead, hand the bridle over. I'm going to use this hand to help guide it into his mouth. I can use my thumb to help open his mouth and guide the bit in. Then I'm going to carefully move his ears. I'm going to move this up so it's not pinching his ears. Move it to the right position, make sure it's all even. Check both sides. Alright. I'm going to fasten right here. So it's going to be relatively tight, but once again, I can still get 2 fingers under here. You don't want it crazy tight. You don't want it super, super loose. And then I'm going to make sure everything's okay with the bit. And once again, I can get 2 fingers under. Alright, now he's bridled and saddled. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check his girth again, make sure it's nice and tight, go up a hole or 2. And make sure they're even. And I still get a hand under there, yep. Now I'm going to place these in, Make sure it's all secure. Now we're ready to go. Hello. Today we're going to be going over how to mount, how to steer, and how to halt on our horse. So this is Poppy. He's going to be helping us today. So first things first, before you mount up, you obviously want to do a tack check, make sure everything is safe and ready to go. I'm going to check his bridle. I'm going to check the girth, make sure everything is on properly. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put his reins overhead. So if you can come over here so we can get a view from the side. When you are mounting on your horse, you want to make sure, this is my left hand, I am taking the reins up. That way I have control of my horse when I'm going to get on to him. Then my left foot is going into the stirrup on the near side. So I'm going to hold on the front of the saddle, not the back. You don't want to pull the back end of the saddle towards you. I'm going to put this foot in my stirrup and I'm going to, oh, we're slipping. Mount up and just like so. So now that we're on top of our horse, I'm gonna go ahead, get my foot in the other stirrup. And first things first, you want to have a nice posture. So you want your head, shoulder, hip, and heel to be in a nice straight line. That is going to keep you in balance with your horse. And we always want to be in balance when we're riding. So being an English rider, I hold the reins like so. My pinky is underneath, thumbs on top, kind of like how you're holding ice cream. And in order to start our horse, we need to talk about aids first. So we have multiple aids to help us communicate with our horse. We have our seat. So that'd be our seat bones, whether we're leaning one way or the other, whether in a posting trot, if we have a big post or a small one. We have our legs, so our lower leg to help us with steering, help us with forward movement. We have our hands with the rein, and we also have our voice. We can talk to our horse. And all of these things we use together to help communicate to the horse and what we want. So first things first, when we're thinking about going forward, we want to look where we're going. We want to make sure everything that we're ready to go, that they're ready to go, and we're going to squeeze with both of our lower legs and ask them to move on. So here we got Poppy moving on, and every horse is different. Some are more sensitive than others. All it takes is a squeeze for some horses. Some might need a little nudge, just to get them moving forward. So when you're steering on your horse, we have to think about a couple things. First things first, you want to look where you're going because that's going to shift your weight in the direction that you are moving. So I'm going always to be looking ahead, looking where we're moving and where we're going. Next thing I want to remember is my reins. So if I am going to lift my inside rein, I am telling him to come to the inside, but at the same time, my outside leg, I'm going to want to push him over to push his hindquarters over. So what that's going to do is going to tell him, oh, we're going left. Now when I want to change directions, I can open up this right rein and I'm going to squeeze with that left leg. And now my right leg is on the inside and my left leg is on the outside. So our inside leg can stay on the girth to keep them moving forward. Our outside leg can move back behind the girth to move the hindquarters over. Now we're walking forward on our horse and we want to halt. How are we going to halt? So first things first, I want you to think about sitting up nice and tall. And I want you to think about slightly squeezing with your upper leg, not your lower leg. And then you can squeeze both reins, kind of like how you're squeezing a sponge. You say, whoa. And then whenever we use our aids, we want them to be pretty quick. You don't want to keep pulling back, yanking on the bit, none of that. You want it to be a nice whoa and then release when they give you what you want. So it's all about pressure and release. So I just asked them to move forward. So I'm gonna think about stopping. I'm gonna squeeze that upper leg. I'm gonna sit up tall. I'm gonna squeeze both reins and say whoa. Very good, Poppy. All right, so today we're gonna be working on Poppy responding to my seat aids. So basically what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be opening my rising trot by posting with more energy to help encourage Poppy to move forward. And then I'm gonna slow my rising trot to help him respond to his nice and slow. So right here, I'm slowing my rising trot, asking him to come in. Good boy. And we're working in a figure eight right now, as you do so. And now I'm gonna open my posting. I'm gonna push him a little bit more forward, encouraging him to move forward in front of the leg, which right now is a little behind the leg. It's not typical for him. Good boy. And now I'm gonna go ahead, slow my posting, slow my seat, and I'm gonna ask for a nice little hold. Good boy. That way, I'm working with him where you can get a hold without even touching your reins. He becomes so sensitive to the seat that I'm not even having to squeeze the reins. He just knows when I sit up, I'm squeezing that upper leg and I'm slowing my posting using my seat to ask him, whoa. Good boy, Puppy.
Finn. Finn.